Okay, this is Jack Bunnell. He's been here probably 38 years. He was our sawer, ripper on the old tri-state gang rips with the laser lights. In this picture, it's a winding 5-head molder that we're looking at. These new winding molders, they run like $65,000. Very nice, easy, user-friendly, very accurate for holding width and thickness. He's actually feeding ripped-to-width material. He's making mitered door molding outside framework. That's taking the rough lumber that before it goes in there is like a 900 by 3 inch is what he's running. And it's going to come out the other end 797 by 2 7/8. The next one is all the rip-to-width door molding that has been processed through the molder, and we've put a design on the edge of your mortise tenon doors, or if it was a miter door, then we just put the design on the face and the edge. Quite often, most of the door molding is square, 3 sides, top, bottom, and back side, and you just have to machine a pattern into the facial edge. In the racks, there's smaller quantities. I mean, we're using 14 kinds of wood here every day, 80% of it being cherry and maple, but the others are smaller counts, so they're up in those cubicles, up in the racks that might hold 200 feet. The roll carts will hold about 4,000 feet when they're full. So the most popular patterns are set on wheels on roll carts, so I can take it from the molder to the chop saw, back in position. This is Bruce Nelligan. He's probably been here 10 years. He's on a Graycon Demeter. He's on an optimizing chop saw. That means there's another person on the other end of the machine we can't see. But he's actually, in his left hand, there's like a little orange spot on his fingertip. It's a special crayon, because now he's marking defects in this wood, and they're going to go through a computerized optimizing chop saw. That first guy we saw molding the material, now he molded it, and then it's coming to this chop saw. This is the molding that he was making over on the winding Unimat. Now it's come over here to be cut to length. The cut bill is in the computer. After he marks the board, he's going to put it on the track, and some laser lights are going to come back across all of those marks, counting all the bad inches by the number of marks he put on there, and then it's going to optimize the best yielding cuts to the cut bill that's in the computer. He's doing nothing but picking up boards and marking bad spots. The computer's going to do the rest. This one is the girl tailing for Bruce. He was on the one side of the Graycon marking door molding. He was cutting this frame stock. She's on the second side of that machine. There's 4 kickers stations. The kickers behind that, plastic flaps, they're a safety shield. Safety deflectors, so the board doesn't fly out and hit her. Again, we've told the computer where to kick out what sizes, style or rail, kick them out different locations so they go on different tables of transport to different directions. And while she's picking them off of there, we don't want the next board hitting her in the fingers. Up above her, there's 12 clipboards where we would put the orders. It's kicking them out by order. She's sorting, inspecting, going to pick them up, stack them on the table, putting them on the table by order. When they get done, the paperwork will go with that table and follow through the plant. That's the same fella, Bruce Nelligan, but now he's doing a custom chop line. If I don't have, say, 20 doors or more, if I've got a 1-1-1 situation, those papers are going to go to him. He's cutting outside framework. He's using a computerized tiger stop. That little panel in front of him, he sets the size each time, and the yellow thing moves to the right length. And ahead of that, we had probably 7 chop lines with 7 operators setting the manual stops, and all be a 30-second different. This is the same day in, day out. Doesn't matter who's chopping there, as long as they type in the right fraction, number and fraction, then they're going to every operator is going to cut it exactly the same. As we're actually cutting our doors to size, finished size, right from the beginning. Later on, after the door is assembled, we're going to take them a little bit off the top and bottom and a little more off the left and right to design them, sand them. But they're basically cut to size. We're going to build them to size. We're going to build them square. I'm looking at the same chop saw from a different angle with a different operator. That same Tiger stop that we just looked at in the last photo. This is Shane Repture. He's probably been here 8 years. He normally is assembling doors, but he must have found a bad part, so he's come back over to get a new piece of wood to replace the bad part. Probably everybody out here is able to do 3 or 4 jobs proficiently and effectively and productively. When they get one part of the job done, they're able to move to a different part and help manufacture it. So it's good for all of us. Okay, this is the older way of left-right end matching for the top and bottom rail of a mortise tenon door, doing one end at a time. It's a left-right end matching shaper. It's all homemade. All this was an old, probably 40-year-old double spindled shaper, just retrofitted so you could use the left and right, one spindle going clockwise, one going counterclockwise, so you can control your tear out against that chip breaker behind that piece of wood that the cutter goes through, so you have a clean tear for your joint. This is for patterns that you don't have thousands of. You do one at a time. You're going to do one end and then the other end. Actually, he's got it clamped down, is holding the piece in place, and now he's going to hit a foot lever that will convey that track forward and backward to go through the cutter on those linear bearings, those 2 rods that are underneath the base. He's got his hand up there. He just clamped the air cylinders down to hold the piece of wood while it goes through the cutter. That's Jeffrey Dean. He is one of the owners. He and his sister Susie own the company. They're 3rd generation. He's looking at a Frulmac machine, which is 5 years old. They're about $80,000. It actually was developed to end match flooring, but it works great for end matching the top and bottom of a mortise tenon door. We just run the rails through there, and it's putting the end match in the rail. The good part about this machine, it doesn't care how long or short the piece is. It's going in on the right. There's a track. It goes in on the right. A sensor stops it. The shaper head conveys toward him and back and puts the tenon on. Then it goes across another track onto the second bridge. Now, that bridge is backing up the first piece while the conveyor on the right is sending in another piece. So now you're doing 2 tenons at a time. It's fully guarded. It's a German machine that Weining sells again. It's very safe. So the operator is way over here on the right. Taylor's way over there on the left. Nobody near the equipment. The cutter, when it stopped, is actually in the window behind him, to the right of him, way down the other side of the machine. He's looking at the control panel. But the thing is, if the machine thinks there's something wrong with all the equipment through the building, even from the get-go there with that rip line, if it thinks there's something wrong, it stops, gives you an error. It tells you on the screen what's wrong. It troubleshoots itself. You can fix it, and you can usually get it going again in a matter of seconds. If it's a deeper problem, a lot of the equipment is internet-friendly, and you can troubleshoot it through the manufacturer also in maybe 15, 20 minutes rather than a week or 2 waiting for a technician to come in, troubleshoot it, get a part. It's quite amazing how quick you can get up and running.